Hey guys, it's Mathel here once again with the follow-up video for the CoC Flicker Strike 2.0 Voltaxic version. First of all, Merry Christmas, nice and early on 25th over here. And second of all, the character went pretty damn large. So as the previous one did, and it was one of the best builds I'd played in recent memories, this one was somewhat close, but a bit different. So it should be cheaper to put together because it's just a simple Voltaxic. You don't need to get any other ascendancies from other classes or anything. And then it's about the min-maxing of your gear. So in total, anything from like 5 to 10 divines will get you to a similar spot that I'm at, depending on your crafting and your luck and stuff like that. I tried to min-max as much as I could with some dual sockets, and you'll see that in the POB, which I will upload with the video basically. Overall, it was more DPS than the previous version, I believe. 105% shocks on enemies, and then wither stacking ends up being pretty powerful. But I also leaned a bit heavier into DPS this time, as opposed to getting some level of defense. So I think last time I used Determination and had a bit more regen. This time around it was harder to get a bit more regen because Consecrated Ground was nerfed, and I, instead of going low life and Petrified Blood, just decided to have a bit more life with the Energy Shield combo, and then didn't use Determination. So that did cause a few problems for mapping. Like sometimes you'd die to things because you'd be porting on top of them, and there's no chill or freeze or anything like that. So it wasn't super comfortable on that front for some tougher content like breaches with tough map mods, stuff like that. And then porcupines were a bit annoying as well. Having to solve that issue by using a Call of the Void ring, I think it is. The ring that drops from Uber Elder that chills and then shatters corpses. That thing can just actually be used for mapping full time if you really want. It applies a 30% chill on everything. Everything will hit a lot less hard as well, and then shatters get rid of corpses. But I only used it every now and again, mostly for porcupine maps, but you can definitely use it over your Mark of the Shaper for a big damage loss, but for overall a survivability boost. You could also just replace Wrath for Determination if you really want to be quite a bit thicker, because ultimately I think my build, once it has the right damage with Righteous Fire up, has something like 50 million DPS. It's hard to tell exactly, but it's one of the higher DPS characters I've played, and I have some rough gaugings of what huge amounts of DPS look like. So anywhere from like 30 to 50 million is what I'm going to say. On top of that, Galvanic Field felt like it was pulling its weight, so it really depends if you can get a big Galvanic Field out on a target, based off of the large shock, since we are using Lightning Conduit, and that's often just removing your shocks. It's tough to fully synergize with Galvanic Field, but pressing it pretty routinely, especially before like a harvest pack and a breach and expedition and on boss fights, it deals something like 10 to 15 million DPS just by itself. I did test it against a few bosses here or there, and basically just applying a big galvanic field and then not attacking, and it crits damn hard. So it has its place in the build, and I do think you can certainly utilize Galvanic Field in other builds as well, but it's pretty convenient in this one since we are Voltaxic and getting large shocks that you would otherwise not be getting unless you went a self-cast Voltaxic sort of thing, something like that. So it doesn't have to be a cast-on crit build, but yeah. In the end, Voltaxic took on all the Ubers. Didn't do Searing Exarch because it wasn't convenient, but I'm pretty sure I could out DPS race that as well. You will be dying every now and again for sure. This is a bit more of a sort of skill-based setup for killing bosses, and then you can afford to take like a hit or two against some of the Ubers. Ubers, you either build really thick into, sort of like really expensive to get both midway DPS and thickness, or you just go all out DPS. This is pretty close to all out DPS. You can basically take a hit or two against some things, and then no hits against others. But took on all the Ubers, and it was pretty similar to the other character that I played for this build. Occasional deaths, but really good damage and viability. So against regular content, regular bossing, it's just an absolute joke. Against the Ubers, it's going to maybe take you a few deaths and needing to learn to play the mechanics in the build. And then it was really good for Sanctum too. Just port around everywhere and kill stuff pretty damn quick with Lightning Warp. As long as you're just like constantly porting around, pretty much nothing ever hits you, but occasionally you will take some hits. Nowhere near enough to fail a Sanctum, but it will make challenge runs a bit more tough, so you may want to swap into just the non-Lightning Warp hat and play it a bit safer at times. That is certainly an option, and Blast Rain definitely proves that it's a much better proc rate against single targets and specific situations. So when you really need your single target, just play Blast Rain and get rid of Rain of Arrows, because it's a lot more large scale, a lot more area base, whereas Blast Rain will be much better on the proc rate, but you'll have to focus your attacks onto certain enemies quite a bit more precisely. So with that, I will leave you with the first Fiat of my league and the first Uber Maven of my league. Thank you very much for watching. See you guys next time. So the priorities are like there.
Put on a good show. Temporal tears. Handle this. Twin terrors. Handle this.
Too much! Everything's too fast. This is hard to recover from, I think. With 2 proj and everything being giga fast. Ooh boy. Slaps! No!
This has been most entertaining. Take the prize. I've grown bored already.
She was false.
Go now.
I mean, that was tough, not gonna lie. That was fucking tough. Fragment of Horror, Maven's Writ, a full writ! Woo. You can kind of out DPS it, kind of out gear it, but at the same time, doing mechanics is pretty important. I almost died there. I think I'd die to a single Cascade of Pain right now. That's what I'm trying to say. Do brain phase quick though. That's good, that's good. Dead. Not dead, never dead. Unkillable. Not unkillable! Whee! And we fucked that up. That's fine, right? We wanted a ball there. The degen phase there is good for some reason. Dude, what? That guy just went ham. I did not like treat him with any real respect whatsoever. He blade flurried the shit out of me. Man, that is just obnoxious.
Stand still.
Unusual encounter.
A cascade of pain. Stand still.
Stop resisting. Reality bends. Punishment inescapable.
Arrogant toy.
No, you.
This will not be an escape.
Yikes, dude, this bubble's pretty annoying. Oh, wait. Oh, wait. What?
Scurry, scurry. A cascade of pain. Take this.
The living toy must enjoy our
I mean, if I get some standstill time, yeah, we can do some damage. It's just hard to get any of that in.